Today I want to do two things. One, I want to demystify all those videos and reels and shorts saying, I made 6 figures in my business this year, and you looking at them, oh my gosh, you're amazing, I want to be just like you, because what you don't actually know is what it costs to run that business. So as much as you may have brought in 6 figures, what are you actually taking home and being able to spend? And number 2, simplify profit. Explain to you what it actually is and how can you make sure you are sustainable in your business as you grow. This is of course both for business owners and aspiring business owners. So if you're in the early stages of your business journey, this will be really useful for you. I've got to be honest with you. I get really frustrated when I hear people raving about the fact they've made 6 figures in their business. It doesn't mean anything. And I'm here to talk a little bit about that, and also to talk about how you can make sure you make a good, healthy, sustainable profit in your business, which means money you can actually take home and spend. Now, you should know by now, my name is Krystle McGilvery. I'm a finance and behaviour change consultant and the founder of a company called Mind Over Money, and I work with people like you day in, day out. I'm also a chartered accountant, and I've been doing that for 15 years. And talking about this stuff gets me very excited. I love it. So this video is for you, the business owner or the aspiring business owner who is in the early stages of building their business and needs a bit of help understanding the finance element of your business. Let's talk about profit and what it really means. Now, those who already have a business will know how difficult it is to understand how much they need to bring in terms of revenue to ensure they can take home whatever desired profit they really want. Their focus, of course, is how much money they can take home into their household and spend freely, tax, etc., all accounted for. That can be quite difficult if you don't have the basic understanding of finance. And I want to demystify a part of it so you can get started getting clear about your business finances. Let me run through 3 different types of profit. We start with gross, then we move on to operating, and then net. The first is gross profit. Now, gross profit refers to the profit generated from the revenue. So this is the money you actually receive from selling your service or product. It's the cha-ching amount that usually gets deposited into your bank account, less the costs you've had to pay for to be able to deliver that product or service. Now, this is often called direct costs or costs of sales. The actual wording is somewhat irrelevant. What you need to understand is the costs you actually incur for you to be able to fulfill that specific sale. Some examples include delivery, so shipment of the watch, for example, to the customer. Or maybe it's the packaging for each individual sale, the box and the bow. What are the costs that you must incur to be able to provide that product or service to the customer? The way you make sure it's the right cost is only when you make a sale do you incur that cost. So if you incur that cost regardless, that's not a cost you'd include here. So the revenue less those costs give you your gross profit. Now that's important. It's a really important figure to pay attention to because it provides a lot of information about the margins of your business, which I'd go into in another video. Now let's do this with a real live example. Say your revenue brought in for the business for a month, let's say. You can do this by product, by month, by year, but let's just focus on a month. Say you brought in £100 in revenue and your direct costs, your costs of sales, are £50. That means your gross profit would be £50, 100 minus 50. Now we get to operating profit by deducting those pesky expenses. So we're going to take our gross profit, remember that was £50, and we're going to deduct our operating profit. So these are the costs that we must incur to keep the business alive. For example, hosting costs, or maybe you have a member of staff that you pay every single month regardless, or maybe you rent a space. So for example, we started with £50 gross profit. Say our operating expenses are £20 for the month. So we're now left with £30 operating profit. 50 minus 20 leaves £30. As you can see, we're pretty aggressively corroding that revenue of £100, but let's keep going. Now, finally, we're going to get to something called the net profit. Now, this net profit will include all of the costs that you would incur in your business. The final bits we haven't include things such as taxes. So we're going to take our £30 and we're going to deduct, say, £10 of taxes, etc. That leaves us with a net profit of £20. Now, this is usually the profit that you can take away and spend freely. Now, I'm going to let that sit in for a moment. We started with £100 revenue for the month and we've been left with £20 net profit to go home and spend freely. Let's compare this to the narrative we often see. I earned 6 figures in my business this year. When people say that, they're often talking about the revenue they've generated and they haven't accounted for costs to fulfill that order or operating costs to sustain and maintain the business or taxes, etc. So when you see someone talking about how much money they've made in their business, challenge and find out and ask the question, how much did it cost to run your business? Let's bring in a real life example. Say there is a coffee shop that is heaving. There are loads of people queuing up to buy their coffee. They're generating tons and tons of sales. They're doing very well on the forefront. But actually, if you dig into the weeds of the business, you might find that their rent is really high because they're on a high street. Or maybe the cost of staff is really high. And that revenue that looks really great is actually being corroded. So this is the task that you need to complete for your business. Ideally, before you get started, get clear on your numbers. What is your gross operating and net profit? What does that look like? Get clear about how much money you can actually take away from the business or reinvest back into the business. Now, there are 3 things I'd love for you to think about and incorporate into your business finance management. 1, make sure you do regular check-ins, monthly, quarterly, annually. Get very clear about where you are financially. How much gross profit have you made? What's your operating profit? What's your net profit? Number 2, do a cash flow forecast. A cash flow forecast is very different to a profit and loss. A cash flow forecast purely focuses on how much money is flowing in and out of the business and allows you to prepare for months of a low cash balance or a month of a high cash balance and helps you make really smart business decisions. Finally, I urge you, if you are nervous or unsure about managing the finances in your business, there is no shame in seeking help from a professional. You have a range of people you can go to for help, whether they're bookkeepers and they'll help more on the admin side and getting jobs done, or an accountant who'd help with compliance and submitting your accounts to Companies House, etc., or a finance professional such as a director or a CFO, which is where I would sit in and help you a bit more on the strategy side of your business, helping you plan overall for what you're doing and help you think about systems and processes and what you need to do on the legal side. If need be, you stay the expert in the area of your business, such as creative side or IT or technology and delivering amazing service. If you're not 100% on the financials, get somebody who is. I have got a bunch of other videos and a few series that you can sign up for and learn more about this, including templates to help you do your cash flow forecast, do your business planning and get really clear about your numbers. I have shared a link to the cash planning and planning for profit series, which does just this, a bunch of worksheets, a bunch of videos, so you can feel confident about your business finances. Now let me know below in the comments if you've got any questions about anything I've shared today and I'll be happy to help. Until next time.